Direct instruction is an instructional approach where a teacher explains, demonstrates, then allows students to try it themselves independently. As the day starts, students are engaged and ready to learn. This is an important stage since the teacher is building on the foundation of what they're going to be learning that day. For example, if they're doing a math lesson, the teacher would start first by explaining the importance of how to add. Why is it important and why you need to learn it? After that, he or she would start showing the steps and procedures to adding. After that, he or she will let the students do it with him or as a group. Once they had a foundation and they practiced as a group, then they'll be able to work independently. Again, step 1 was explaining to students what they're learning and the importance of it. That catches their attention. The next step, number 2, was showing them the I do. What did the teacher did? Third step was the we do. What did all of us do together? And the fourth step was you do. Them having time to practice doing it. Direct instruction can be used for a reading lesson as well. First, you would explain the importance of blending words in order to read. Then you would show how to blend sounds. Third, then you would give a word for the students to practice sounding it out and blending it. Finally, you would give them a word they can blend on their own. In order for direct instruction to be effective, the teacher has to let the students try it on their own independently. Then, the teacher will walk around checking if the student is understanding. One of the key words is gradual release. That means gradually releasing the students once you know they understood the lesson you taught. If many students or even one did not understand, it is best to go ahead and reteach the lesson and use different manipulatives or wording to help the students understand this time. The value of direct instruction comes from research backing it up as the best way to teach students because it includes gradual release and I do, we do, and you do process. Content that is best taught using direct instruction is those that have steps, sub-skills, procedures, strategies, principles, and or concepts like English, reading, science, history, and so on. Now, I have told you what direct instruction is and how it looks like in a classroom, but what about how would a lesson plan with a direct instruction included would look like? The first component is pre-planning task, which means identifying what is the big idea of what you're going to teach. What are the standards that align with your state and the books that you're using? What's the objective? What do you want the students to learn? Any specific examples? And finally, critical management skills. How are you going to engage the students? What are you going to use? Are you going to remind them how you get their attention by saying a callback? Or do they immediately know once you go in the front of the room, it means eyes on you? After the pre-planning task, next is component number 2, which is lesson setup. This is actually presented to students, so it's the first thing they're going to hear from you. How are you going to gain their attention? What communications are you going to say of what do you expect of their behavior? Component number 3 is lessoning opening. This is where you give out your statement of your objective purpose, any connections prior to their learning they had before, and any active participation strategies. Component number 4 is your lesson body. This is where you explain and demonstrate the I do. You check for understanding. You see any questions, you answer those questions. You do supervised practice. You let them come to the board and do it in front of the class. Component number 5 is extended practice. This is where you plan what the students will be practicing in class. You plan ahead and you have those worksheets. You have those activities already ready for you to just pull them out and for them to have that extended practice. Component number 6 is lesson closing. This is where you close your lesson after work is done in class. At last, you have component number 7, evaluation. This is when you do your exit ticket. You make sure that every single student understood the lesson and was able to do it on their own independently correctly. And that's how you make a lesson plan that includes direct instruction. It has the I do, we do, and you do parts in it.